In this video, I'm going to reveal to you a dropshipping funnel that has made me over $10 million in sales over the last few years, and it is still working to this very day. You can see that this Shopify store, this one single store that we have, has been doing close to $250,000 every single month. I will refresh the results so you can see that they are all legit. And now that that is all out of the way, let's just jump straight into the video. So when most newbie dropshippers get started in the game, they operate based on this very simplistic, basic one-night stand funnel, as you can see here. However, it has its time and place, but there is a much better to legally print money with this strategy that I'm about to reveal to you in a moment in time. Most of you know what this strategy is, and basically it's just an advert. You run your Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it may be, directly to a product display page, so the actual product page itself. Then people add it to their cart, they check out, they thank you, and that is pretty much it. And this does have its time and place sometimes. The reason why this has its time and place, first and foremost, for speed, okay, to get up and running with things. It also allows you to quickly test, let's make this a little bit wider, and also get validation. So when you're first starting out, most of the time you're going to operate off this model, and it's very easy to do because it has its beneficial, it has its time and place, because it allows you to do these things. First and foremost, speed, so you can execute very quickly. You find something online that you like the look of, you test it, and you move with speed. It allows you to quickly test something and then get validation whether or not it actually works. For the most part, again, this is just to get the first few sales, and once you actually have validation, you then want to move on to what this strategy is here. And just to show you essentially what something like this would look like, it would look basically like, very basic product page here. This is an all-for store, by the way, but let's just say we add something to the cart, we go to proceed checkout, and that is it. Okay, people check out, they then put the information in, and they say thank you, and they get the product. Okay, very easy, very basic. But there's a much better way to do things, and this strategy is currently working right now. This is what I'm operating on. This has made us a lot of money, so let's just get straight into it. Now, it looks very complex. I'm going to break things down. So let's first and foremost start with the differences between this funnel and this dropshipping funnel. Okay, so first and foremost, we have a ad, and then we go directly to a listicle. Now, you may be wondering what exactly is a listicle, and I'm going to show you some examples of a listicle in a moment in time. But a listicle, in short, is a format whereby instead of running them to the product page, you run them to a page that warms the customer up with the main benefits of your product. It's kind of like a pre-sale. People call them pre-sale pages, because you are essentially warming up the customer to the idea of your product. You're educating them in a list format before they actually get to the product page. So they don't see the price, they don't see anything else until they consume all of this content. So what does a listicle look like? Well, I'm going to show you some examples. This one here, this one here, this one here. And they're in most of the part different niches. And you can see here, most of the time they will start with 5 ways to, cure whatever it is that you are curing, or whatever problem that your product solves. So this one's 5 reasons why. You do have, this one has 7 reasons why, and again, it is another 7 reasons why. For the most part, they're either between 5 and 10. I've seen multiple different brands and ads running either between 5 reasons all the way up to 10 reasons. You ultimately will split test which ones work the best, and these are very easy to put together in Shopify. Okay, and what they do essentially, you can see here, is they educate the customer. They don't have any price as such, and what it does is it pulls out the main key benefits of what your product solves. So for example, rebuilds your collagen in this one, restores your natural moisture. This is obviously a female hormone rebalance, or whatever it is. Rebalance your microbe. You can see here, rejuvenates, etc. And then when you go all the way down to here, you can see that it offers off an offer. So for example, you get a 90-day money back guarantee, trusted by, etc. Simplify your routine. And if we click on this button here, ultimately we're then going to go to the product page. This is obviously one layout that they have here. You'll see that this one's a little bit different. 7 reasons why people are switching to, orthopedics are losing their mind over this game-changing product for, again, product here, this angle is for bunions. The beauty of listicles and these pages is that your product page, when you have a product page, it's generally going to be general. So it's kind of like a wide open. If we talk about an actual funnel, okay, you will have the product page will kind of be like a catch-all, whereas these funnels, these actual listicles, you can build these towards a specific angle if you wanted to. So for example, if this one here was all about focusing just on bunions, and then another one could be maybe just focused on heel pain, and another one could be maybe focused on plantar fasciitis, can't even say the thing, plantar fasciitis, you could build out these pages that are very easy and quickly to do, and then again educate the customer and then run them to the product page after they click. So again, this is another example of one you can see here. Reason 1, revolutional wide toe box for bunion pressure. Reason 2, reason 3, reason 4. This is actually a good layout. And then obviously they have the offer here at the bottom, and if we click on this one here, it's going to take us to the actual product page that you can see here, the catch-all that's going to go to everyone. And then once they're on this page here, they obviously see the product page, the product price, they can add to their cart, etc., and they go through the funnel as expected. Same with this one here. I'm not going to go into this one in too much depth, but you can see here, same thing, same concept, just reasons why and educating the customer. The reason why these are so good, especially if you are building these as well, you are not giving them too much information in every one of these actual reasons. Reason being is because most people are going to skim read anyway, and the goal is to basically, again, eliminate as much outclick as possible and just get them to consume this information, and then they can obviously, you can sell them a little bit better on the actual product page. So it's one of the main key differences, again, in between a basic funnel and something like this. So other people like to use advertorials as well, which are basically, again, just long form copy. Again, same kind of way, stealthily selling the product or the reason why people should buy the product. Now, the next stage obviously is the product display page, but in most instances, especially if you've already validated the product or the concept and you're actually building a brand, one good thing to do is have a welcome email. Now, again, I don't recommend you do this out of the gate. This is something that you would do a little bit later on, but this is just an example. And if you go to most stores, they will have a welcome, or they will have a pop-up, which will look something like this. So get an extra something % off, or get a free gift, get X, Y, and Z, to entice the customer to put in their email address. And once you collect their email address, then of course, whether they buy or whether they don't buy, you still have them on a list that you can market to, or remarket to later on down the line. So again, doing things such as cross-sell, getting them to, again, you could add in more emails, and if by email 4 they haven't converted or they've bounced off, then of course what you can do is offer out a discount to repurchase the product. And again, once they're on the email list, any upcoming promotions such as, Christmas, bank holidays, Easter, whatever it may be, you have their email address because they've shown some sort of interest in your product anyway by coming to your product page. You can then obviously, again, remarket to those people. They may not buy right away, but once you've got their email list, and once you've got them on an email list, you can remarket to them. Then obviously the cart, which is very basic, but here's another main key point in this funnel in helping you level up. So you have the checkout, and for most stores, even in the basic funnel, right? Even with this basic funnel, you should probably have a abandoned cart email sequence anyway. That would be the only email sequence that you would set up in this sequence, in this very basic one night stand kind of funnel, because everyone, I think it's close to 70 to 80% of people are going to abandon cart anyway for multiple various different of reasons. But having an abandoned cart sequence is very key to getting people to push them over the line. And again, I'm not an email marketer at all, but I would recommend that you set this up yourself. It's very easy to do so yourself, just for using Klaviyo, or you can even use Shopify's built-in email sender if you wanted to. And the goal with this ultimately, again, is just to push them back to the checkout. Hey, you left your products in the cart, checkout. And what you're going to sprinkle in here, obviously, is things like discounts. Not on this one. Most of the time I would only offer a discount on email 3 and email 4, right? Because you don't really need this discount in email 1 and email 2, to be honest, because again, most people just abandon because they got busy, or they were at work and then got called into a meeting, or the doorbell rang, or the dog barks, or whatever it may be. So offering off a discount straight again is not really needed. But again, you're going to be offering out discount scarcities, things such as, it's only valid for your carts. We're going to keep your cart for the next 24 hours, next 48 hours, yada, 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 and pushing them continually to check out. And this is where, again, is to help you capture as many people, as many buyers as possible, because again, 70% of people are going to abandon checkout for whatever reason. Now, this next part here, this is where the magic happens, okay? This is where you can increase your average order value massively if you do things correctly. And even in this basic one here, okay, if I'm testing out a product, for the most part, I won't go through the effort of setting up an upsell at all. This part is very much really just to see whether or not a product is going to work, because I don't want to spend the time and effort to, even though it is fairly quickly to do so, but you can very much optimize this and split test and get very creative with this part here. But for the most part, if you're just quickly testing a product, I don't go through the effort of setting up any of that stuff. If I just want to test out a product to see, does the market actually want it? Is there life there? Can I actually, make it profitable on the front end? Or even if it's just break even, optimizations can always come later. However, this is a very, very, very important part of this business model, and it's completely, when you implement it, when you have something which is working, you want to implement this kind of ASAP because it can transform your business drastically overnight. So before they actually get to the thank you page, you are going to set up a upsell flow or upsell funnel ultimately. And an upsell is basically something which you offer as some people call them OTOs, which is a one-time offer to entice the customer to purchase more from your store. And the goal with e-commerce is to essentially try and squeeze as much money as possible out of every single customer that comes to your website. Reason being is because, as ad costs continue to increase, any sort of bad days, you have a lot of competition. If you can outspend your competitors, then you ultimately win. If you are able to spend more to profitably acquire a customer, you can outbid them in the auctions, you can scale further, you have more margin. It just makes things a hell of a lot more easier to win in this game of e-commerce and dropshipping if you have a better average order value and you're able to be more profitable. So this is one key thing about it. So the upsell one, again, I'm not going to go into the strategy of how to set up all of these upsells. In terms of apps, there's two main apps that you can use to set up an upsell, and that is, what's it called? OCU, so one-click upsell, and then there's Aftersell. My personal favorite is Aftersell. I just use Aftersell, but they both pretty much do the exact same thing. Now, in terms of upsell, just to give you some source, should I say, the upsell one typically in my experience is always, again, it's dependent upon the product that you are selling, but for the most part, if you sell a product which is can be bought in multiples, selling the exact same thing but just at a very great discount, 40-50%, will work very, very well. However, what I would say, so for example, again, if I give you an example, if you're selling clothing, then of course, if you say, for example, you're selling hats and someone buys one hat and you've got multiple different variations of colors of that, then most people will want more than one color. So if you say, hey, get something in another color, then 9 times out of 10, that's how you can get a higher rate. And getting a good upsell conversion rate comes down to the offer itself. So how much discount are you offering? And then logically framing it as, something that logically makes sense. What I mean by that is, hey, get this for a family or friend, because then it logically makes sense. Because most of the time, if it was buy 2 pairs of glasses, maybe not so much glasses is a good example, but two pairs of this one thing, most people don't actually need 2 pairs of one thing. But if you frame it as get this for a family and friend, all of a sudden they're logically thinking, okay, they can logically justify the purchase because they're buying it for their friend or they're buying it for a family member. So that's how I like to get good upsell conversion rates. Now, again, you're going to have upsell one and then you're going to have downsell one. So if they say no to this, you can offer, again, same thing. I usually just offer a better discount here. If they say no to this, they go to the thank you page. If they say yes to upsell one, then they'll get upsell two. Upsell two, again, you can offer either, again, depending on the product that you're selling, you could, again, offer the exact same thing, but at an even steeper discount than this one here. Most of the time, it logically doesn't make sense, so you may need to offer a complementary product. And again, the same strategy would apply to downsell 2. I don't know why I put downsell 1 there, downsell 2. Okay, so this one would be, let's say, for example, you are offering another phone case here. Instead of a phone case, you're offering a phone screen protector. And if they say no to the screen protector, but they said yes to this one, you could offer, again, the better discount than this one here. So if you offered 50% here, maybe you offer 60% here. The beauty of this here and why it works so well is because if someone has already purchased the product, they're in a much ready to buy state because they've already given you money, and you then don't have to pay any of these costs of acquiring the customer because you've already done it on the front end product that you were selling. So this allows you to maximize the discounts, okay, on these ones here. You don't have to have so much of a substantial markup because you've already acquired the customer. Anything from here is pretty much just profit because you've already secured the sale, right? And then upsell 3, you have this here. Now moving on for the final parts, right? You have a reassurance email. This is what we most of the time have, depending on obviously how long your product takes to get to your customer. The only reason why most of the time we like to have a reassurance email flow in, especially if you're dropshipping, it's just to alleviate some of the questions that we may get from consumers, because what most dropshippers do, especially in this one here, is they will sell a product and the customer will not hear for 2 to 3 weeks from the brand itself until they actually get the product. What that then does is people will obviously be like, oh shit, I bought this product and like, where on earth is it? So they're going to reach out to customer service. But if you're able to speak to the customer with a reassurance flow, say, hey, everything's all right, your product's coming, here's your tracking number, then they're not likely to reach out. And this can very much reduce the amount of email tickets that you have. Next, obviously, again, together, these are going to work together. You obviously can mess around with the timings and stuff like that, but you have a post-purchase email flow. And this post-purchase email flow is to, depending on how you set things up, you could obviously educate the customer on why they've made a great choice. One thing that I personally like to do as well is offer a cross-sell straight away out of the gate, because again, they are already purchased from you. And if you can have a very good upsell, maybe something wasn't offered here, or maybe it was upsell 3, but they just didn't see it. You can offer, again, a cross-sell for a different product or a complementary product at a very great discount, because of course, again, you can sell that product and you don't have to worry about the costs, and you can offer great discounts and send them, again, to that product page. Okay, again, these are just other emails that you would have in there, such as educating the customer, reasons why you'll love it, whatever. And then again, some of these other emails that you've got in here can also be to different collections. If you're selling a different collection or a different type of products, you can cross-sell them into something else. And what happens is if you look at this as a whole well-oiled machine, when you set up this legal money printer, what happens is it allows you to spend more on the front end on your ads, because everything is working. There's no essential holes in the bucket. When you're running this strategy, there's no holes in the bucket, because of course you are capturing every sort of potential drop off that could potentially happening, while still maximizing the amount of purchasing from the person to squeeze as much money as you possibly can out of every single person who buys from your store. And when you do things this way, this is ultimately when everything is working well. Again, you can split test your way through all of these parts if you wanted to, right? Which is an ongoing, indefinite process that you go through over and over again, right? You can very much just print money. So this is a strategy that's working right now. Like I mentioned, this is a strategy that's made over $10 million with dropshipping. Use it, implement it. If you do have any questions or you want to learn directly from myself, then again, there'll be a link in the description to book a one-on-one call to see if coaching is something that would be helpful to you. We do get some great results for our students. So take this and make those changes to your stores ASAP, especially if you have something which is working through this one night stand basic model. Implement this and I can guarantee that you will make much more money. Peace out. Bye-bye.